What if I told you that the device you're watching this on, the Wi-Fi connecting you to the internet, and even the treatment that saves millions of cancer patients every year were all invented by women? Throughout history, brilliant female minds have shaped the very foundations of modern civilization. Yet their names remain largely unknown. Today we're changing that. These are 7 women inventors who didn't just change women's lives. They changed the world for everyone. Before we begin this journey through forgotten history, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss the incredible stories coming your way. Marie Curie, the woman who split the atom and saved millions. Paris, 1898. In a drafty, unheated shed, a Polish immigrant woman stirred 8 tons of pitch-blende residue, searching for something the scientific world didn't believe existed. Her hands were raw, inflamed, and constantly blistered from handling radioactive materials. She didn't know she was slowly dying from radiation exposure. But Marie Curie never stopped. Born Maria Sklodowska in Warsaw in 1867 under oppressive Tsarist rule, Curie was forbidden from attending university because she was a woman. She moved to Paris, lived in poverty, sometimes fainting from hunger while studying physics at the Sorbonne. In 1895, she married physicist Pierre Curie, and together they began investigating a mysterious phenomenon discovered by Henri Becquerel. Certain materials emitted spontaneous rays. Marie Curie coined the term radioactivity to describe this phenomenon. Through exhaustive experimentation with pitchblende, a uranium-rich mineral, she discovered it was far more radioactive than uranium itself. Something else had to be present. After years of grueling work, isolating and purifying tons of material, Curie discovered 2 entirely new elements: polonium, named after her homeland Poland, and radium. In 1903, Marie Curie became the first woman ever to receive a Nobel Prize, sharing the physics award with her husband Pierre and Henri Becquerel. The Swedish Academy originally planned to honor only the 2 men, but Pierre Curie insisted his wife receive equal recognition. In 1911, she won a second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, for isolating pure radium and investigating its properties. She remains the only person in history to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different scientific fields. But Curie's impact extends far beyond academic awards. She discovered that radium destroyed diseased cells faster than healthy cells, laying the foundation for radiation therapy that today treats millions of cancer patients worldwide. During World War I, she developed mobile radiography units called Petite Curies, bringing X-ray diagnostics to battlefields and saving thousands of wounded soldiers. She personally drove these units to the front lines alongside her 17-year-old daughter Irene, who would later win her own Nobel Prize. The Radium Institute, which Curie founded in Paris in 1920, trained generations of scientists and produced 4 more Nobel Prize winners. Her legacy fundamentally changed our understanding of atomic structure, demolished the belief that atoms were indivisible, and launched the entire field of nuclear physics. Marie Curie died on July 4, 1934, from aplastic anemia caused by decades of radiation exposure. She sacrificed her life for science. In 1995, she became the first woman honored with burial in the Pantheon in Paris for her own achievements, not her husband's. Hedy Lamarr, the Hollywood star who invented the future. She was called the most beautiful woman in the world. Her face graced silver screens across the globe during Hollywood's golden age. But what audiences didn't know was that between takes, Hedy Lamarr was sketching technical diagrams and solving complex engineering problems. This Austrian-American actress held a secret that wouldn't be revealed for decades. She invented the technology that made modern wireless communication possible. Born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler in Vienna in 1914, Lamarr possessed not just stunning beauty, but a brilliant mathematical and engineering mind. When World War II erupted, she wanted to contribute to the Allied war effort. Working with composer George Antheil, she developed a frequency-hopping spread-spectrum technology designed to prevent enemy forces from jamming radio-controlled torpedoes. Their patent, filed in 1942, described a system where radio signals would rapidly switch between different frequencies according to a code known only to the transmitter and receiver. If the enemy tried to jam the signal, they couldn't, because by the time they found the frequency, the signal had already moved. The concept was revolutionary. The United States Navy, however, dismissed it at the time, partly because a woman and a musician had proposed it. Decades later, in the 1960s, the Navy finally adopted frequency-hopping technology. Today, Lamarr's invention forms the foundation of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, and all modern wireless communication systems. The technology is estimated to be worth over $30 billion. Lamarr never received a single cent in royalties. Recognition came late in her life. In 1997, she and Antheil were honored with the Electronic Frontier Foundation's Pioneer Award. In 2014, she was posthumously inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Every time you connect to Wi-Fi, use Bluetooth headphones, or navigate with GPS, you're using technology that Hedy Lamarr invented. Drop a comment below. Have you heard of any of these inventors before? Which story surprises you most? Grace Hopper, the Admiral who taught computers to speak. Imagine a world where every computer spoke a different language, where programming required intimate knowledge of machine code and only a handful of specialists could write software. That was computing before Grace Hopper. Born in New York City in 1906, Rear Admiral Grace Murray Hopper earned a Ph.D. in mathematics from Yale University in 1934, one of very few women to do so at the time. During World War II, she joined the United States Naval Reserve and was assigned to work on the Mark I, one of the earliest computers, a room-sized machine weighing 5 tons. In 1952, Hopper invented the first compiler, a revolutionary piece of software that translated written programming languages into machine-readable code. Before this, programmers had to write instructions in binary or machine-specific code, an incredibly tedious and error-prone process. Hopper's compiler allowed programmers to write in something closer to English, which the computer would then translate automatically. Her colleagues at UNIVAC told her it was impossible. They said computers could only do arithmetic, not language translation. Hopper proved them spectacularly wrong. She went on to co-invent COBOL, the Common Business-Oriented Language, one of the first high-level programming languages. COBOL became the standard for business and government computing for decades and is still used today in banking systems, ATMs, and credit card processors worldwide. Billions of lines of COBOL code continue running critical infrastructure across the planet. Hopper also popularized the terms bug and debugging after literally removing a moth from the Mark II computer in 1947. She kept the moth taped in her logbook with the note, "First actual case of bug being found." If this is blowing your mind, show some love with a like and share this with someone who needs to know these stories. Let's make sure these women are never forgotten again. Grace Hopper continued working with computers until her retirement from the Navy at age 79. Her contributions earned her the nickname Amazing Grace and made modern software development possible. Without her work, the digital age as we know it simply wouldn't exist. Kwolek, the chemist who made the Unbreakable. Sometimes the greatest discoveries happen by accident. But it takes a brilliant mind to recognize when something unexpected is actually something revolutionary. In 1965, chemist Kwolek was that mind. Working at DuPont in Delaware, Kwolek was researching lightweight, strong fibers for use in automobile tires. She created a polymer solution that was unusually thin and cloudy, nothing like the thick, clear solutions typically used in fiber production. Most researchers would have discarded it as a failed experiment. Kwolek's curiosity wouldn't allow that. She insisted on testing it. What she discovered defied belief. The fiber she created was 5 times stronger than steel, yet incredibly lightweight and flexible. She had invented Kevlar. Today, over 200 applications exist for Kevlar. It's used in bicycle tires, racing sails, suspension bridge cables, boat hulls, aerospace components, musical instruments, smartphone construction, and building reinforcement. But its most celebrated application is in body armor. Bulletproof vests made from Kevlar have saved countless thousands of lives among law enforcement officers, military personnel, and security professionals worldwide. Kwolek never sought the spotlight. Born in 1923 to Polish immigrant parents in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, she planned to become a doctor but couldn't afford medical school. She took a temporary job at DuPont to save money. That temporary job lasted 40 years and changed material science forever. In 1995, Stephanie Kwolek became only the 4th woman inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. She held 28 patents and received the National Medal of Technology. She remained humble about her achievement, once saying, "I don't think there's anything like saving someone's life to bring you satisfaction and happiness." Stephanie Kwolek died in 2014 at age 90. Her legacy lives on in every police officer who walks home safely, every soldier protected in combat, every life saved by the material she discovered. Patricia Bath, the ophthalmologist who restored sight to millions. Imagine living in darkness, losing your vision to cataracts, with no hope of cure. For millions worldwide, this was reality until Patricia Bath revolutionized ophthalmology. Born in Harlem, New York, in 1942, Bath faced both racial and gender discrimination in her medical career. She became the first African American to complete a residency in ophthalmology in 1973. Working in Harlem hospitals, she noticed that African American patients suffered blindness at twice the rate of white patients, primarily due to lack of access to eye care. This disparity drove her research. In 1986, Bath invented the laser phaco probe, a device that uses laser technology to painlessly and precisely dissolve cataracts before inserting new lenses into patients' eyes. Before Bath's invention, cataract surgery was invasive, requiring long recovery times and carrying significant risks. The laser phaco probe transformed cataract treatment worldwide. The procedure became faster, safer, more precise, and more accessible. Bath's invention has restored sight to millions of people who would otherwise have remained blind. She became the first African American woman to receive a medical patent, and she held 5 patents related to laser cataract surgery. Bath didn't stop at invention. She co-founded the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness, stating that eyesight is a basic human right. She traveled globally, performing surgeries and training doctors, particularly in underserved communities. Patricia Bath died in 2019, but her legacy illuminates the world. Every day, thousands of people wake up able to see their loved ones, read books, watch sunsets, all because of her dedication to restoring vision. Maria Beasley, the inventor who saved the Titanic survivors. Philadelphia, 1882. Inventor Maria Beasley looked at the lifeboats of her era and saw death traps. These so-called safety devices were little more than flat planks with no guardrails, offering minimal protection during maritime emergencies. She decided people should stop dying at sea. Beasley designed and patented an improved life raft featuring rectangular metal floats instead of hollow tubes, guardrails to keep people safely inside, a foldable design for efficient storage, and fireproof materials that could withstand emergency conditions. Most importantly, her raft could be launched immediately when needed, without complicated deployment procedures. When the RMS Titanic struck an iceberg on April 15, 1912, and began sinking into the freezing North Atlantic, Maria Beasley's life rafts were on board. Though the ship didn't carry enough lifeboats for all passengers, Beasley's improved design meant that the lifeboats present could accommodate more survivors and keep them safer during rescue operations. An estimated 706 people survived the Titanic disaster, many thanks to improvements Beasley made to maritime safety equipment. Maria Beasley was a prolific inventor who held over a dozen patents, including a barrel hooping machine that revolutionized barrel manufacturing and a foot warmer. But her life raft remains her most impactful contribution, a perfect example of how one person's innovation can save hundreds of lives in a single night and thousands more over time. Mary Anderson, the woman who cleared our vision, New York City, 1903. Mary Anderson, visiting from Alabama, took a streetcar ride on a freezing winter day. She watched the driver struggle to see through snow and sleet accumulating on the windshield. To clear his view, he had to stop the vehicle, get out into the bitter cold, and manually wipe the glass. When that became too tedious, he drove with his window open, leaning out into the freezing weather to see the road. Anderson thought, "There has to be a better way." She designed a swinging arm device with a rubber blade that could be operated from inside the vehicle using a lever. The driver could clear the windshield without stopping, without leaving the warm interior, without endangering passengers by driving blind. When Anderson patented her invention and approached manufacturers, they rejected it. They claimed drivers would be distracted by operating the wiper, that it was an unnecessary gadget, that it would never sell. Anderson couldn't convince a single company to produce her windshield wiper. Within a decade, her invention became standard equipment on every automobile in America. By 1916, windshield wipers were mandatory safety features. Today, it's impossible to imagine driving without them. Mary Anderson's invention has prevented countless accidents, saved innumerable lives, and made driving safer for everyone on the planet. Every time it rains or snows, every time you flip that lever and clear your windshield, remember the woman whose vision and persistence made safe driving possible. The hidden architects of modern civilization. 7 women. 7 inventions that fundamentally changed human existence. Marie Curie revolutionized medicine and physics, winning 2 Nobel Prizes and founding nuclear science. Hedy Lamarr invented the wireless technology connecting our entire digital world. Grace Hopper taught computers to speak, making software accessible to billions. Stephanie Kwolek created a material stronger than steel that saves lives daily. Patricia restored sight to millions who lived in darkness. Maria Beasley saved hundreds of Titanic survivors with improved life rafts. Mary Anderson made driving safe in all weather conditions. These women didn't invent cosmetics or fashion accessories. They invented the fundamental technologies and medical treatments that define modern life. They revolutionized communication, transportation, medicine, safety, and computing. Their contributions benefit everyone, regardless of gender, race, nationality, or background. Yet most of us never learned their names in school. Their stories weren't told. Their achievements were overlooked, minimized, or attributed to men. Some, like Hedy Lamarr, were dismissed because of their appearance. Others, like Patricia faced discrimination because of their race. Many struggled for recognition their entire lives, receiving honors only posthumously. But their work speaks for itself. Their inventions changed the trajectory of human civilization. Before you go, leave a comment telling us which inventor inspired you most. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss stories of the brilliant minds who shaped our world. Share this video with everyone you know. Let's make sure these women's names become as famous as their inventions. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep celebrating the innovators who changed everything.